Hello my brethren, I hope you're all well. This is the fourth installment of that Red Pill Moment series. I will continue to produce these series, and I think it's time that I create a good playlist for people who just want to hear these stories. This story is a fairly short one, but I think there is an important message attached to it, and ties well with the hangout that I was doing today with some of the producers. Hey Nico, I'm writing in regarding my experience with social isolation. I'm in my mid-30s. After my breakup about 5 years ago, all of my male friends, I have no female friends, left when they caught the news. Fast forward today, I have met people along the way. However, they usually come in two flavors. Either they only stick around when circumstances are favorable, or they see me as a utility and they ask me for a lot of favors. I got so fed up that I severed any contact that I had with them. Currently, I'm studying for my bachelor's degree in Australia. I'm a foreigner. I tried talking to the youngsters in the campus, however, they seem to want nothing to do with me. I know that people can be rejecting for various reasons, but this can be a little bit tiring at times. Though I'm not sad or depressed, my disappointment with humanity just grows day by day. I just don't know how to connect with another human being anymore. About myself, I have hereditary depression from my mother, and she, for most of the time, is not emotionally available since I was young. Every time we speak, she just basically talks about her emotional issues. My last major episode of depression was with my longtime ex-girlfriend of nearly 7 years. I tried talking to my male friends, but they are not providing any listening ear at all. Instead, I got abandoned by all of them. Visitations to the psychiatrist and medications for about 2 months proved to be of a little help in order to change the state of my mind. With no or any viable available outlet, I tried to burn my ex-father's shop. I got caught and arrested on my third attempt. I didn't want to burn the whole place down, but I wanted to cause some minor damage, and I was actually charged with 3 counts of mischief by fire, which is a level lower than arson. Though I barely have any major episodes of depression currently, I have been drinking on a regular basis, so much so that it begins to eat into my studies. Anyway, I'm writing in to not seek sympathy. I'm writing in to warn youngsters, young men, in order to not put all their emotional anchors into their girlfriends or their wives, especially if that one wife is socially inadept. Feel free to share my story. Cheers. This guy actually mentioned what I wanted to talk about in his story, but I think it's important to expand on it a bit more here, because we need to understand a few things that we have not discussed recently. In the video that I made yesterday, just check in the cards, it will be there, and watch it if you haven't already watched it. I mentioned that we as men see all the good inside us on the women that exist in our lives. We, in essence, project to them the attributes that we consider good, because we never see ourselves as actually good people. Masculinity, which is our main attribute, the one that we all want to possess after all, doesn't come with sensitivities. I think that's a bastardized version, a bastardized definition, if you like, of masculinity. Being masculine should not mean to be impenetrable, uncaring, and never feeling, so we need to keep that in mind. However, the preconception that in order to achieve that strength, that pre-mentioned masculinity, you need to deny yourself all the emotions, is a wrong one. That's why men create a safe space with that one woman in their lives, or so they think that they're creating a safe space. That's why men try to talk to those women. That's why they try to discuss with her their inner pains, their inner difficulties. And when you do this for a long time, you understand that the woman is physically distasting you while you're telling her your stories. Your emotional need comes in direct conflict in what she's looking for in a man. Any sign of weakness, after all, weakness and not affection, there is a difference here, makes that woman like you less. It's hypergamy in its fullest working here. You see, she might care to listen about your difficulties if she was a friend, or if she continues to perceive you as a strong man in her eyes even after you shared your shitty stories. But that very rarely happens. Unfortunately, the trouble that you've had in your life, the abuse that you might have gone through, a woman does not really want to know all that. Even if that woman thinks that she wants to hear it just so that she can come closer to you, because you will stop being that icy cold big man, she will find out that that's not what she really wants, because that woman is actually looking for affection. You see, women get affection by talking to each other and by touching each other. But from you, all they want is the affection. They don't really want the talking and the sharing of your inner emotions. The talking part simply does not have the same effect on her as the talking with her female friends is. I think a lot of the men have gone through a lot of these problems themselves. They have all gone through it, and all of them got shocked at the response of the woman, and still get shocked at times when women seem to not give a shit when you might be explaining your pain. Well, they wouldn't. I will equate you talking about your emotional drama and your inner weakness, let's call it as that, because that's how a lot of you guys see it, as you chatting to a woman and then visibly seeing her getting zits all over her face and body and aging at the speed of light. It is the equivalent that she might see in you, if she was a man, let's say, when you're describing your emotional turmoil, your emotional instability. No one should expect to find their person in that one woman in their lives, especially a woman that has a choice to go and run away and share with her all of his pains and suffering. Because that stuff dries a pussy like nothing. That's my honest opinion. And I have lived it enough times to know that that's actually very true. However, we're all red pill aware. We understand how that process works inside a woman's mind. This should come as no surprise to any of us, but occasionally you need a nudge, a reminder after all, at times when you feel vulnerable with a woman, when you feel that you want to share these things. I'm not going to tell you what to do. All I can say is that sharing will get you nowhere, because it will simply not get heard. She will simply not understand you. She will not see how you're having problems when you're so privileged, after all. If you want to be heard, if you need to be heard, there's a whole community of people here willing to listen to you, and listen to you without judgment and without shaming. We have all been through shit, and we have all learned to know better. Better yet, we have learned to appreciate the value of male input in these circumstances. All I can say is that those friends that you described there were not really your friends, especially if they did not stand by you during your moments of difficulty. And unfortunately, I see a lot of the younger generation of men actually having a female-style friendship where they see their friends and use them as utilities and as a means to an end. This should never happen. We should all start to set an example and bring back the old school real male bond into the picture. United we stand and united we fall. A bond with a friend should be the same as a bond with a brother. We should look out and care for each other. And more importantly, we should listen to each other's stories. This is how we learn, and this is how we stay sane. Thank you very much for listening. This was Nikuchowski talking about all things man. Please like, share, and of course subscribe to my channel for more updates.